How are we doing? Questions?
Good. First full day of pads for you guys. I mean, is this something you've been looking forward to, especially as far as you trying to build this roster and get your depth chart together?
Yeah, I mean, today we were able to tackle a little bit. The last 12 plays for each group got some live work and practiced our short yardage situation. So it's good to see guys finish plays. And we've been in shells the previous 2 days, shoulder pads and helmets, and so you get to see a lot of the contact, but you don't get to see the finish at times because we weren't taking people to the ground. So it was fun to see that at the end and see how guys are going to tackle, because it's always, oh, I had you, or no, you didn't. And today we found out a little bit.
When the pads are on, does that boost up the competition level, especially,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's more on the line, so those guys are going to play to the whistle, and there's a lot of straining going on, especially in that kind of drill where you're in a short yardage situation.
Noticed Bailey was in with the twos today. Are you noticing any separation there?
They've been rotating throughout camp, so it's just a matter of when you're out there, and they're getting reps with the ones, twos, and threes. Three guys, we got to move it around, so they're all getting equal reps right now.
What's the status of Ricky Person? I saw he wasn't out there.
He's just a little sore, he's doing well. He had a really good start to camp, got a little sore, so we're just being protective of it.
You had what seemed like surefire ones at receiver last year going into camp.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the ones this year? How much competition do you have there?
Well, we have good depth. I mean, I think CJ and Emeka and Thayer and Tabari, Keon Lassane, Max Fisher, I mean, those are all guys, Devin Carter, that we feel like can play. And there's other guys that are working out there as well, but those guys stand out.
How much is Emeka emerging as a leader for you guys?
He's quiet in his leadership role, but he's so respected because of his work ethic and what he stands for, how important things are to him. The guys really look to him for that, I think, more than his speeches or anything, because he's not a real vocal guy.
When you have that much depth to work with, how much easier does that make the evaluation process for you and your coaching staff?
At what position?
Any position, quarterback, skill positions.
Well, I think when you have more guys in the competition, it's a tougher evaluation, to be honest, because you're sharing the rep load with 9 to 10 guys, whereas if you have a top three and everyone's below them, it's a little different. So it's a good thing because, it takes reps off of guys. You don't have to wear guys out. There's other positions where I wish we had that luxury.
Do you have a timetable for when you start narrowing it down, especially at quarterback, or do you let those guys make that decision as to how long it's going to take?
Yeah, when they tell me by their play, then I'll have it. Yeah, I mean, if I tell you it's next Wednesday and I'm not ready, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, when they give me the stats and the proof that there are guys, then we got time.
You got a couple sets of brothers on the team. How do you see that bond kind of on the field?
That's pretty cool. You see Thayer and Drake walking out there together, and the Dabbs brothers. I think that's pretty special, the McKay brothers, and I can't imagine that. I just think it's awesome. It says a lot about your program when, an older brother comes and has obviously a good experience, so the parents want the younger one to follow them, and it's not always that way, and I think it says a lot about our culture and how we treat these young men, and it's fun to see them together. I mean, for life, they're going to have that experience of being brothers on the same football team in college. It's pretty neat.
How much does a guy like Keon Lassane kind of surprise you so far with his speed on the field as well?
Keon is really strong. He can run, but he's really strong. He is a good guy with the ball in his hands. He's tough. He likes contact, so he's a unique receiver that way. He's got a little bit of running back to him as a wideout, so fun to watch him play, and he's fearless.
Does that help him in terms of trying to carve out a special teams role in his first year as well?
Yeah, he has that returner knack as well. He can return punts and kickoffs and, reverse his jets. He can do all kinds of things with the ball.
Heard Savion's name yelled a lot. Do you see him being someone that can make an immediate impact?
Hopefully he's not getting yelled at,
Yeah.
Savion's gotten a lot better. I think the spring really helped him. He was pretty lost when he first got here, and he's in a lot better football shape for one. Just knowing the speed that we practice at and what to expect, he's starting to play a little bit more, within himself, and he's got a lot of ability.
Go ahead.
You were very excited about Stephen Griffin going into last year, and then he gets hurt during fall camp.
Right.
Moving Tanner Engel to the safety slot, was that a big vote of confidence for what Stephen could do this year at nickel?
Yeah, and also Tyler Baker-Williams. We feel like him and Griff are in a good competition at the nickel, and we have good depth there. Jalen Frazier coming in. We've just had some good DB recruiting classes of late, and it's helped us I think for Tanner, he's probably our best contact player, you know, and getting him in that free safety spot like we used to have Josh Jones, where he can fit in the box and make a lot of plays, will help our defense.
You mentioned that you have time to figure out these depth charts, you know, all across your roster. Are you prepared to have to go up until the final week of training camp or up until the last 7 days, you know, to figure out who's going to be your starting quarterback, who's going to be your starting running back, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what it takes, that's what I'm going to do.
How long is the process when a freshman come in where it ends being surreal and becomes their new normal? What's typical?
I wish I could answer that with a firm, you know. I mean, some guys just impress you because they jump right in, and other guys it takes time, you know. And some guys it takes years. So there really isn't. It depends on their maturity when they get here.
How do you help accelerate the process? Is there a way you can?
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time with them, and it's not just our coaches. It's, you know, our strength coaches do a great job in that role. You know, Dee Hoggart, I think, does a great job, you know, and Al Bird, all these guys around them just off the field, our training staff. But ultimately, they have to make a choice, you know, as a person that they want to do the things that it takes to play Power 5 football. And sometimes they're just used to coasting through in high school and getting away with it because they're that good. And then when you get here, you can't be that way. And, you know, you hear our seniors when they get up and talk, a lot of them tell that story, like, oh, I thought I had it, you know, and then I was like, man, I was nothing. And so some of them get it and some of them don't. And, you know, I wish I could make it easier, but sometimes you just got to go through that.
You mentioned how much Jordan Houston kind of flashed on Friday, even though it was his first team practice.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him so far as well?
You know, he probably hit the wall a little bit today. He had a really good first 4 days and not so good today, but he'll bounce back. Very athletic, good vision, you know, can catch the ball. He's not afraid, you know, to go in and block somebody that's a lot bigger than him. So just, you know, his courage.